Hello everyone, welcome back to the Traxion YouTube channel. Welcome to this iRacing Global Mazda MX-5 Cup track guide from the Norwegian Rudskogen Motor Center. Now the Rudskogen Motor Center and the Global Mazda is a match made in heaven. It's an absolutely perfect car track combination, although it's a little bit tricky and there's not much grip. And turn 3, when translated to English, means anxiety. I'll say no more. So if you've followed my track guides before, you'll know that they are not a place for hot laps. This is a slow, methodical approach to learn the circuit where I talk about my braking markers, my reference points, and the little quirks that each circuit has. So this isn't about going there, getting the perfect hot lap. This is about getting round relatively quickly, but more importantly, safely. So as usual, I will show you a flying lap in full, and then we'll jump in the car, do a few laps, and show you my braking markers and reference points in action. Then towards the end, we'll talk about pit entry, pit exit, and where I think you might be able to overtake here at Rudskogen. So enough talking, let's get on track. So here we are then on the main straight here at Rudskogen. So as usual, we've set the sim time to match the official series. We're also using the iRacing baseline setup, which is also used in the official series. Track temperature right now is 29 degrees Celsius, exactly the same as it was in the flying lap that you've just seen. Now, Rudskogen and the Mazda, it's a match made in heaven, a brilliant combination. However, there's not much grip in the Mazda, so you need to take that into consideration. And certain corners set up several other corners. So for example, turn 3 sets up turns 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 essentially. So you've got to get turn 3 right. If you don't, the rest don't flow. So we're going to be approaching turn 1 on the right hand side of the circuit. And it's really easy to overshoot turn number 1. And you need to cut turn number 1 to get a really good entry into turn number 2. So I like to approach turn 1 at a bit of an angle, shifting down to second gear, braking round about here just before the start of the curb. So it's going to be second gear, and I like to put my right tyres onto the curb. We're going to turn in quite late, trail braking all the way, cutting this curb, not too much because you will get slowed down, and then a short burst of acceleration until we get to this curb here. Then we're going to be off the accelerator, trail braking round until we get to this patch of grass on the right hand side. Just as you enter the patch of grass, as long as you're in this position, you can get hard on the accelerator and don't let off all the way around turn number 2. The more speed you carry there, the more speed you're going to carry down the hill. Now turn number 3, translated into English, means anxiety. And as you saw in my flying lap, well, the car was pretty out of shape, and that's what you'll find quite often going around here, especially on lap number 1. So on lap number 1, you want to brake nice and early. On a flying lap, you're closer to the 50, but on lap number 1, you want to be braking gently at the 100. And you want to leave your downshifts here until the last moment if you can. Downshift if you need that extra rotation, if you're going to understeer wide. Or I like to downshift round about down to third, round about here, and then down to second quite late. And then we're going to apex this one really late to get a good run up the hill to open the corner up nicely. The car will push out towards the left, but if you've got it right, you can keep on the accelerator all the way around. And you want to cut turns 5 and 6, not too much. Again, you will get a slowdown. And then this one here, you want to cut this one to open up turn number 7. And we're going to be braking just before the turn, down to first, cutting a little bit of the corner at the start. And you'll find, or you'll have seen in my fly lap, that I was on off the throttle here. That's because the car compresses at certain points of the corner and then it decompresses, and that's when you need to get off the gas just to stop the car from understeering. And then when you get to about this point, the circuit drops down, the suspension will compress, then you can get hard on the gas for the exit. Then up to second, then up to third, move the car over to the left hand side around turn number 9, and I use the tyre wall there as my braking marking, so you can see the red and white boards on the left hand side. So just as I enter that tyre wall there, I then brake hard, down to second, and then again leave my downshift as late as possible because we want to apex this one really late. And as soon as you get towards the end of this curb here, you can get hard on the gas. Just be careful. The car just like to wheel spin here, so you might lose a bit of traction. And then accelerate all the way up here, second gear. And you'll think because turn 11, if it's a turn, it's a left-hand turn, we're actually going to be moving the car over to the right nice and early for turn number 12. And you need to open up turn number 12 as much as you can. And you can get half the car over the curb, and that will open up turn number 12 nicely. And then we're going to be on the brakes. Again, we're going to be cutting this corner, but be careful, not too much. And you can't get on the gas too early here, because if you do, then you're just going to understeer wide and you'll be on the grass. So accelerate at the apex, the car will run wide. You can take a little bit of this grass there, not too much. Accelerate hard, up to third. Then I like to lift a tiny bit, cut this corner, get the steering nice and straight, and then downshift to second. Now hold a nice tight line around here. If you want to overtake somebody, you can move the car out wide there. But I like to hold a nice tight line all the way around. It's really difficult to judge when you can get on the accelerator here, because it is easy to push wide, but of course you need a good run out because this is on to the straight. So generally, when I see that tyre wall ahead of us come into view, then that's when I start to accelerate second gear. And let the car run all the way out wide. Again, half the car over the curb. It's perfectly fine. So we'll start to pick up the pace a little bit now. So going down to turn number 1 again, we're going to be braking just before the curb. Approaching at a slight angle down to second gear. Putting this curb on the left hand side. A little bit of acceleration. Then on the brakes. As soon as we get to the grass, we're going to be on the gas and holding that all the way around. Up to third, then up to fourth as we approach anxiety. Cold tyres, so I will brake a little bit earlier on this lap. I'll show you what it's like on lap 1. So we're braking at the 100 board nice and gently. Nice and gently. Leave your downshifts until the last moment. And then apex this one late. Then you can get on the gas all the way up the hill. Move the car over to the right. And then cut this curb on the left-hand side. Same with this one on the right. And then just before the curb on the left, we're going to be braking down to first gear. And then we're going to on off the throttle. Wait for it to go into the dip. There it is. Then we can accelerate. As soon as it hits that dip, the suspension compresses. Then we can get on the gas. Looking for the tyre wall on the left-hand side. So we're going to be braking there. Down to second. Down to first gear. Waiting for the end of the curb. There it is. Then we can get on the gas. Left turn here, but we're going to be moving the car over to the right-hand side. We're going to straddle this curb here. And we're going to be on the brakes. Cut this curb. Be patient. And then get on the gas. Then up to third. A little lift just to get the car to turn in here. And then down to second gear. Nice tight line all the way around here. We're going to be playing with the throttle as we go around here. And then get on the gas. As soon as you see that tyre wall pretty much coming to view, then we're on the gas. Tyres should be warm now, so we'll attempt anxiety at normal speed. So leave it in fourth down here, don't go to fifth. We're going to be downshifting to second gear, cut this corner on the left, a little burst of acceleration, and we're going to be on the brakes. As soon as you get to the grass, then we can accelerate. Hold that all the way around there. Up to third. Then up to fourth. We want the car nice and wide over to the left-hand side on the curbs. So we're going to be waiting until we get nearer to the 50. Then on the brakes. Again, downshift quite late. Be careful here. Then accelerate up the hill. Again, just playing with the throttle. Just to try and stop the oversteer. Cut these curbs here. Little lift just to help the nose grip. Then down to first gear. A bit wide that one, but it's alright. We'll get it back. Then lift. Then in the dip. Then we can accelerate. Accelerate all the way down the hill. Third gear. As soon as we get to the tyre wall on the left hand side, we're going to be on the brakes. Down to first gear. Wait for the end of the curb, then accelerate. Move the car over to the right hand side, straddle the curb. And we're going to be on the brakes, turn in quite late. As soon as we're on the apex, then you can accelerate. Clip a little bit of that grass, it's fine. Up to third, little lift just to get it to turn in. And down to second gear, nice and tight around here. There's the tyre wall, so we can accelerate. Car will run wide. As long as you're not too far over there, you won't get a 1x. So a nice steady lap there around Rudskogen. It's all about balancing the car, not getting too out of shape, and thinking about the next series of turns as you exit the tricky ones, such as the anxiety. It's really important to get the car nice and settled. Right, let's have a look at pit entry and pit exit. So pit entry and pit exit here at Rudskogen, really quite straightforward, nothing too dramatic at all. Pit entry is just as you round the final turn. Remember the tyre wall that we talked about that you need to look for to get on the gas? Well, it's just to the left of that. And you'll see it as we go around this turn here now. Then we go straight ahead, so you go through these white lines. Just need to be careful of this right turn here. There is some sand on the right hand side, so that might cause you some problems. But apart from that, really straightforward. Just accelerate down, yellow cone as you straight down here. Just pit limiter on before that point. Dead easy. Pit exit, equally as straightforward. Nothing dramatic at all. So release the pit limiter at the green cone. Accelerate all the way around to the left. Wait until you get to the blue cone before you can move out. Just follow the white lines. And there we go. Pit entry, pit exit. Pretty much as good as it gets, really. Right, let's talk about overtaking now. Much more difficult than you would think. So, overtaking at Rudskogen, it's actually much more difficult than you would think. You've got to rely on people making a mistake. But the good thing is that people will make mistakes around here because it's such a difficult car track combination. There's not much grip. So, turn number one, people will probably defend into turn number one on the left-hand side because it's a left-handed turn. But for you wanting to overtake, well, that's perfect because you're going to go around the outside turn number one, and then that means that you're on the inside of turn number two. So people will defend over here. Well, sit behind them, make them think that you want to get up the inside. Make them want to stay on this line. Then at the last moment, you can then move over. And because we're taking a wide line, we can brake a little bit later, give them loads of room. And at this point, if you're on the right-hand side at this point, well, you've got the overtake done. There's no way they're going to carry the speed around the outside to stay alongside. Failing that, the next one is anxiety. Now, people are going to make mistakes all race long around this turn. It really is that difficult. And they'll probably defend here because it is a right-hand turn. And if they are taking this line down into turn number three, well, they're going to have a real struggle keeping it on track, or their speed is going to be massively compromised. So you can follow them down here, all the way down, and then at the last moment, again, move over. Just get your car nice and settled before you turn in. They're going to be on the inside, and what I would look to do is, as they push wide here, then I would go up the inside and brake quite late into turn number four. Then you've got the overtake done. Up here through 5, 6, and 7, 8, nothing's going to be done here. It's just going to be a bit of a procession. Watch for people braking at the top of this hill here going into turn number 7. It's really easy to catch somebody up there and punt them by accident. But again, nothing's going to get done down here. You just need to follow them closely. Again, try and make them defend into turn number into turn number 10. If they don't, slip up the inside. But again, same story. Sit behind them at this point, then move over at the last minute. And you're going to drop a little bit deeper here. And then we're going to apex this one really late and get a really good run up the hill. And if you do that, then you might be able to get yourself alongside. They'll probably defend going into turn number 12. But we're going to take a nice wide line. And if you can get a wide line around here, again, if you can hold it around the outside, you can get the overtake done. If you're on the inside there, it's a bit more difficult because eventually you're going to be on the outside of turn number 14. But you can duck up the inside here. If you aren't alongside, then there's a good chance you will be able to hold it around here. And then move back online around turn number 14. Now, if you're behind somebody turn number 14, it's pointless sitting behind them a nice tight line all the way around. I would drop my car right outside here. And then a real good slingshot down the straight. That means you're going to carry a little bit more speed, which gives you a better chance of getting alongside going into turn number 1. Preferably on the right hand side going down the straight. That would be my advice. Around the outside, turn number 1, overtake turn 2. Make them think you're going to overtake turn 3, but actually overtake them into turn number 4. Nothing through 5, 6, 7 and 8. But a late apex coming out of turn number 10. Get them going up the hill. Around the outside, turn 12 is a possibility. Or on the inside of turn 13. Failing that, remember, try and get the slingshot out of turn 14. So there we go. That's the Rudskogen Motor Centre done. Please let us know down below in the comments how you get on. What were your times before the guide? And what were your times after? Did I help? Did I cover everything that you wanted to be covered in a track guide? But as always, thank you for watching. Good luck on track. Keep it pinned.